Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Stripped by Sia, your podcast for strippers, sex workers, and all the fancy naked people in between. I am your host, Sia on camera, aka Steph Sia, aka ex-retired stripper, and now a cam model full-time, as well as content creator. You can find me on various platforms online. I have been in the business for a very long time, starting off as a sugar baby over a decade ago, and then kind of dipping my toes in different areas of sex work, as we all do. And I started this show back in 2019 to help destigmatize sex work and also to educate folks on, what the realities of sex work is and what our workers face, as well as to humanize the people that are in it and everyone that's affiliated with sex work. I just really wanted to be able to humanize folks that are doing this job, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. At the end of the day, it's just a job. So I really wanted to kind of put forth that motion and really kind of spread the word. And I know the two people I'm bringing on to the show today are also doing that in their own space as well. And I'm so excited to finally record this episode. It's been long overdue and lots of technical difficulties. But the ladies from Muse Massage Spa are joining me today. So we've got Riley and Emily Muse. We're going to be talking about their business, their respective times in sex work, and, talking about erotic massage and that specific part of the sex work umbrella. What consists of an erotic massage, what can be offered in their brick and mortar business, what are the challenges that come with that. We have a lot to cover here, and I know the ladies are really, really excited to chat, and they are chatters because they also have their podcast, Muse on the Mic, as well. We are going to get into it all very shortly. I just want to say a quick hello to those who are on Patreons. I just want to say hi to you guys. You guys get a nice little fan recognition shout out for those who are in the top 3 tiers. That, if you didn't know what Patreon is, it's just a way of supporting your fellow creators, your fellow podcast hosts, and for you to get some access to some extra goodies. So we have all of the video content that's going to be available on there. All the bonus episodes are not available publicly. We also have some sneak peek on what we are bringing onto the show, what kind of topics I'm trying to tackle, people I'm trying to source, people I'm trying to stalk to bring onto the show. So lots of fun goodies there. And it's a great community of like-minded people like yourselves. So if you are interested, it's patreon.com/strippedbysia. And we have tiers starting at as low as $4 a month. And please check it out if you're interested, especially if you're wanting to continue on I guess my journey with sex work, because as you might know or may not know, season 8, this is the last season of Stripped by Sia. So if you want to continue on and see what I'm doing advocacy wise in Vancouver, Canada, you can follow me there as well. So I will be continuing those efforts there as well. So but quick hello, as I mentioned, some people get some fan recognition shout outs. You guys have been here since most of y'all have been there since day one. So Snoo from Germany, we've got Guys there, Eric Arajo via York from Seattle, Washington. We've got McKenna King from Ottawa, Red Door Products from Seattle, Dale Flood from Vancouver, British Columbia, Raina from Sweden, and Ruby from Victoria, BC. Thank you guys for supporting throughout the years. It really means a lot to me, and I hope you guys continue to support the journey and also continue your advocacy too, because I know a lot of you listening are also advocates in your own space, in your own countries as well. So with that being said, we're going to just dive both feet into the episode, because I've been really waiting for this episode to come to fruition for so long. I know we got Riley and Emily Muse of Muse Massage Spa based in Toronto, Canada, and they have a plethora of knowledge and opinions and all the things to bring to the table today, because they are 15 plus years in the business. I want to say they're female, obviously female and sex worker owned, and they have a lot to share today, and we're gonna just dive into it all. And they're waiting patiently, but as you may know, please say hello to the audience. And we got Emily and Riley Muse.
Hello, everybody.
Finally, we're here. Oh my gosh. So lovely to have you two onto the show. I mean, the audience, everyone listening, I know you guys both have your stories in terms of like how you got into the business, how you both met, how you both started a business, and I can't wait to dig into all the topics. But who wants to go first? I didn't even know how to do this. How who wants to go first today?
Well, it's going to be a back and forth because the story is just so like intertwined, right? So my original like starting in the business was always in the massage parlor world. It started with a very tiny little newspaper ad about a centimeter bag that just said massage cash daily and a boyfriend that was like, call the number. And that's literally how it happened. I called the number. I chickened out of the first three interviews and didn't show up. But the girl and I had really like clicked on the phone. So she called me back every time and was like, look, like I really need to meet you. Like you seem fun. And it took a whole lot of pushing from some roommates and stuff. And I finally went in for my interview. She was another girl that worked there. The owner was a guy. And he was pretty cool and pretty mellow, but it was because of the connection with her that I was like, this seems fun. I made a new friend at like my first day at camp or something. And so I just went with it at that point. I mean, the whole first, I'd say 2 weeks is a blur. You're like, what the F is going on? Like it's really surreal. It's super weird. You're nervous and like everything's awkward. But she was a great like person to work with. She was really fun. We ended up being buddies for a long time. And I worked there for about 6 years before switching to another place and another 2.5 or so there and then retired to open Muse. And Muse has been open. We just celebrated 16 years. So we're at
Congrats.
like 25 years in the business.
Amazing.
Wild.
That's
It's wild.
It's
insane.
wild. Yeah, we're the Bible apparently of like massage parlors. If you need to know it, we've got it.
So true.
So
So Riley,
crazy.
you're up.
Well, I am going to pop my cherry here with you guys today. And I want to kind of give a little bit of background to tell you why. On Muse on the Mic, I do not speak about my experience in sex work. And it's not that I lie, we just choose not to bring it up. And oftentimes I'll even tell my stories, but it's in the context of it's one of our staff. And it's only for the sake of protecting my children.
Mhm.
They do know what I do now, and I'm kind of easing them into understanding mommy's work life. But those are baby steps. And this portion, me working in the industry, I think needs to be kept to myself.
Mhm.
So, we're here on a different platform with different followers, and I just feel kind of in a safe space to share that about myself. So Emily's so excited.
I'm
And
so
me
proud of
too.
you.
Yes, I was gonna say I'm so
Um,
proud of you. That's amazing. Thank you so much for
well,
sharing.
I am a little nervous, like even saying this, because I'm like, it can be found. It's on the internet. But you know what? I'm not ashamed of myself. I'm quite proud of the journey I took and, everything that's kind of came from that experience. So I am happy to share it. And when I got into the business, same kind of age range as Emily, I was working a corporate job and really went into it from a position of, I don't want to say greed. I wasn't greedy, but I wasn't in need.
Mm.
And I was really kind of craving experiences. And I was like, this could be fun. I can make some extra money. And it was amazing. I had a great time in the industry. I didn't meet a ton of people. I kind of kept to myself and did my job, made a lot of really great connections with clients. And then, of course, met Miss Emily Muse.
And the rest
I
is
love it.
history.
The rest is literally history, but without those two pieces, Muse wouldn't be what it was because it was about the knowledge that we both had from both our separate and shared experiences and kind of just chatting one day and been like, remember when it used to be like this? Or remember how cool that used to be? Or that used to be so much more fun. And
Yeah.
now it's like high pressure and like just little gaps and holes in the industry. And we just kind of, the tone of the conversation was like, this could be better. Like, why
Yeah.
isn't this better? And then
Yes.
the more we were kind of going through the list of like the big players of the other parlors and stuff, it was a lot of male owned, or like there might be a female face but still male operated, and a lot of
Right.
mistreatment of staff, or gungy parlors that didn't have anything fancy, let alone a clean towel, like just really grimy stuff.
Yeah.
And the main theme or thought was, but what if a woman did this? Or what if
Mhm.
two women that know the business? What if two actual sex workers, not just sex workers, but actual like massage parlor attendants, MPAs as we call them, what if
Mm.
they were to do it? And Lord, the amount of naysayers at the beginning was overwhelming, right down to our own beloved clients that were long-term fans of us individually and together. We're kind of like, yeah, okay, guys. Like, it's just this like girl in a dream. Well, why are you still
Yeah,
talking?
it
And
really
they
was.
was really
Yeah.
dismissed. And we even saw a few others after we had opened try to do it and fail within months.
Wow.
And God love them for trying, because it ain't easy. We can definitely say that. It certainly isn't easy. But without that experience, coming together, having these like fateful conversations, it never would have come about. And this part of our history is my favorite.
Oh my
hmm
God.
And I think what's really, you left this part out, I don't know if it was purposefully, Emily, is we actually were not friends when we first met. She
Oh,
would even schedule herself to avoid being on shift with me.
yeah,
And
right.
I don't know why we didn't like each other, but we didn't click. Let's just put it that way. But it was one fateful, like I think it was like a snowy day. It was an
Yeah,
exceptionally slow day that we got to talking. And once the business plan was put in place, it was like go
immediate.
time. And
Yeah,
really, it was May 29th, I'll never forget,
yeah,
that we retired from the rooms. And we went out with a bang for our retirement. Like we handpicked our clients for that day,
Yes.
all of our favorite people. And June 3rd, we opened Muse. And we
Oh
were
my God.
always very adamant that we wouldn't work in our spa. I
Yeah.
mean, in hindsight, we probably should have, because listen, money was tight, but we've stuck to that. It's always been like part of the mission.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wait, wait, wait. I have so many
so much
questions. I have
tea.
so many. Yeah, there's so much tea there. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, this is incredible. So let me back it up. Okay. Let me back it up a
Okay.
bit. There's so many questions here. Let's go back to male ownership, male
Mm,
operations, and what that experience is and how that differs from, someone, being a sex worker operated business and being female owned. I'd love to hear more insight on that too, because maybe some audience members are just like, who cares if it's a male owned business and blah, blah, blah. But that is a lot of the majority of sex work businesses, including strip clubs, and agencies and like cam model management companies, OnlyFans management companies. Can we talk about why this can be potentially, for me, it's problematic, but can be potentially problematic in spaces? Please go off.
I think I think there's pros and cons to all of them, right? Like let's be real, women can be evil just as much as men, men can be lovely just as much as women, right? But for the most part, a man isn't invested in the same way, because if when you were a sex worker, your vagina is invested in what you're doing. And it's
Yes.
an interesting kind of investment because there's ego attached to it, there's money, there's pride, reputation, a stage name. Like there's so many things that all kind of play into what you're expected to do or provide in terms of society. And with a man, like most things, they can shit, shower, shave, and walk out the door, right? So like
Yeah.
it's easy breezy, but there are, I'd say in Toronto specifically, there are some of the worst players are men. And yet both of my former bosses were males, so were Riley's. And to be honest, they were lovely. They were just easygoing. They were kind of disconnected a little bit. They were just like whatever about most things. Um, and would hop on a call and listen if you had a problem or something. But like beyond that, they were just like figure it out and I'll see you tomorrow kind of thing. And so we didn't have too many problems with that. But the differences are extreme because there's moments where I would have loved a bit more compassion out of him or some understanding about why I don't want to see a specific client anymore or why a girl may need a break after a really difficult, aggressive customer. And like just things that if you haven't been in the moment, it's really difficult to kind of imagine what it's like. And our bigger mission was, well, what if we could eliminate as many of the factors that go into creating those situations to even be possible, so that it's not a matter of just aftercare and like just talking to someone after a horrible situation and unfortunate circumstance. How do we eliminate as many pieces of that as possible so we can at least can always promise an amazing client or amazing orgasms for the girls, but at the same time, we can almost guarantee that a quality gentleman will be walking in the store and behaving in a professional manner and loving every minute of it. And then equally guaranteeing to the customers that these girls know what they're doing. They're not going to do the things that can get dicey with stuff on both sides too, right? And so everyone's on this more professional, kind of more of a 5-star feel because there's a market for 3-star. There's a market for 4-star. There's a market for the grimy. The first place I worked in was an unlicensed apartment over a karaoke bar in a strip mall in one of the worst parts of town.
Oh
And
my
I grew up in a
God.
small farm village. It was wild. But like so many of the bad scenarios that happened in that, like, it's iconic in my mind. It's like this disgusting, iconic like place, but it was busy because the guys were like, it's disgusting. And yet these gorgeous women open the door and they're like, oh no, this is naughty. And I don't blame them. My penis would be like, ooh, this sounds more fun than like the straight and narrow. And so all of those things would come together. And so when a bad situation happened, it was really bad. And the boss would just never really kind of, there wasn't a procedure or a policy to tweak. Those words were never uttered. Like it just was never operated like a business. And so Briley and I, when we had that fateful conversation that snowy day, which my boss told me I had to be at that shift because if I called in sick when Riley was in one more time, I was about to lose my job. We got to throw that snowball in his face like months later and be like, you never should have forced me to go to work. But the whole point was, how can we eliminate some of those things that, no offense to men, but that men would overlook because it's not their personal or physical like experience. And we even have an edge over women because we've done the sex work itself for many, many years and in several parlors. So our vast experience combined was like our superpower. And it really rattled everyone in the industry, rightfully so.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what?
Totally.
I wanted to add to that too, because I think the advantage we have, I think what sets us apart, isn't like you said that we're just female owned, but because we're sex worker owned, we have the tools and the ability and the knowledge to train our staff. And our training is extensive. But for most girls in the industry, it takes multiple years to really get good at your craft and really kind of refine your skills. That if we can, through training, get the girls already here starting out, they're going to reach their goals and leave the industry that much sooner, if that's the goal. And I also think with the guys, at least in my experience of ownership, they weren't bad guys, but I think they were kind of in it for the girls. Like they wanted some quick money, but they also just wanted to date their staff. It was really weird.
Or
And
the
I'm like, you know
attention.
what? Yes.
Oh, I hate
It's
that.
true. Our mutual boss was definitely like that. A new girl meant a new like dating pool.
That is terrible. Oh my gosh. Why am I not surprised?
We've never dated a staff member for the official record.
Wild. I mean, you guys were talking about like because you've done the work, you've had extensive experience, both of you guys combined with your experience, you're really able to like train your staff and create an environment and an experience for the clients, for your staff members as well, to have the best experience possible. And I just wanted to know too, like in terms of like the places you've worked before, the experience that both of you have brought to the table, talking about like, I guess you were both mentioning eliminating certain things that, might be unsavory, might be unsafe, might not contribute to a great situation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? I'd love to hear what those experiences might be.
I
Go
think
for it, Em. I know you did one.
I've got a couple examples just off the top of my head. That first apartment over the karaoke bar didn't have showers. It had one communal bathroom with like a tub and a toilet. It was an apartment, literally.
Oh my
So the
gosh,
tub and a
yeah.
toilet. And so we cleaned out of like a bucket with like Dettol, and then all the girls would bring their own like body shop soap. So it would smell nice.
Wow.
And so little things about hygiene became like hyperfixations. And so in that kind of scenario, you're figuring out ways to make the most like cleanliness friendly situations. Most clients aren't like, sure, I'll bathe out of a bucket with you. Like most of them are like, no, I'm good because that looks gross,
Yeah.
even if they're sweaty and gross from like August. Like it's this like battle of gross. And it just became so weird. And yet I was actually afraid to change parlors because my first boss used to tell me, if you work at a place with showers, oh, the clients will just push you in the shower. And I was like, I don't want to be pushed in a shower every day. That sounds clean, but horrible. Like I was like confused. And yet the parlor I switched to where I met Riley, where we worked together for about 2 years, had showers in the rooms. And turns out that was not a thing. But my clients that I
Mhm.
brought with me from my previous spa were not showerers because they were used to this god awful bucket. And so they
Right.
were just like, now you want me to jump in this other thing I don't know. And I was like, oh my God. And it was just gross. Like our boss that we had together bought like, it reminds me of school soap, like that just globby white or orange stuff that
No,
just
like a
like plops
bar.
around. And
Oh,
guys are like, no, if I go
yeah.
home smelling like that, my wife's going to think I'm insane. And like, you didn't go to the golf course. Like, what are you doing? And so the simplest things of having a great shower and buying not just brand name soap, but options, man smelling soap, woman smelling soap, unscented soap, sensitive soap. Boys leap into the shower. They love the shower. We have about 6 different sessions based on shower play just because of how eager they are to get soapy. And so we were able to kind of eliminate this like hygiene hesitation that was awful and yet
Yeah,
an easy solution that became not just a solution, but now profitable for the girls too.
for sure.
Because if they're going to get in there and they are going to get wet and they are going to get, no one will push you, but you're going to get covered in bubbles, well, then make your extra money for that because that's different than just a non bubbly, soapy, wet session, you know? So it's those
Right.
little things. A normal boss, he could have bought more soap or, made a bigger shower, but he would never have considered our profit point. He would
Right.
have considered his own expense.
Of
And
course.
so a lot of those kinds of balances are the decisions that Riley and I make and how we go about kind of constructing the Muse way of doing things.
Hmm.
I know you've got examples, right?
No, you
Like
you
money.
really summed it up. I mean, I find too, or my thought process is that girls often, so we are a non-full service spa.
Hmm.
So we do not provide sex or blowjobs. Now, there's a lot of gray area. This is a whole other conversation. Mileage changes, the industry dictates all of these things. But as a rule of thumb, we are a non-full service spa. A lot of guys ask for it, and I don't blame them. They're thinking with this head, then this one. And like they're with a hot young woman, of course they're going to ask. But in reality, generally, they're just in search of intimacy.
Hmm.
And if the girls are skilled enough and trained to recognize that, instead of scolding him, being like, no, we don't provide those services, saying, you know what, I can give you that intimate experience through
Hmm.
other ways that she can kind of transform her session, then they're doing the job, they're capturing the client, they're making the regular without pushing them out the door for asking a wrong question. And I think it's with having those tools of he's not being rude, he's not being pushy, he doesn't know how to express what he wants. And it is that intimacy and the closeness, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
If I may jump onto that, there's actually a reason why we know that. Because I think the instinct is I think in anywhere you go where someone's asking for something else that you don't do, there's that little bit of like, no, you can't have a cookie before dinner. Like, stop
Yeah.
asking. Like, this, like, mommy thing happens. And most men that come in don't want to be scolded, right? So, I remember one of my client that I met. I won't use his name, but oh God, I remember his face like it was yesterday. It was in my last about year and a half that he became a regular of mine. And hands down, he was one of the most aggressive clients I'd ever met. And
Mm-hmm.
that's after 8 years of some aggressive moments, we'll say, to put it nicely. Um, but he wasn't a bad man. Like he wasn't, trying to like grape or anything like that. It was just, he was very aggressive about everything. Even the hugs were like, raw. And I was like, wow, you're like a grizzly bear. Even the way he'd like go up and down your body, it'd stubble and like would just scrape on everything was rough. And I remember at one point just getting absolutely frustrated with him, probably in like the seventh session. And I was just like, stop it. Like, what is this? And we ended up just having a moment of like humanity in that instant. Like I broke the fourth wall. Like we're not acting anymore. Like you and I need to have a chat. And he explained to me that his experiences in the industry had gone about 15 years long, and places always cut him on time, rushed him out the door, tried to overcharge him, like just anything and everything. They would hurt him. They would say, no, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. They'd hit him and like hit his hand away, like just rude, aggressive, rip-off style things on his end. So he thought, I need to fight for what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, she's going to fight me. Like in some
Wow.
manner, is I'm going to lose and she's going to like hustle me or some nonsense like that. And I thought, oh my God, like you're a terror to see as a client. And yet
Yeah.
it's not your fault. Like you were literally in survival mode. And like the strangest way to put that as a customer for a recreational activity. But he was in like, how do I just get to the goal? And do it in some manner that I don't end up feeling worse about myself, which is the last thing we would want for a customer coming in to a place like that, right?
Yeah.
And so we had this amazing heart to heart, and I was like, we've known each other for a long time, and now we know each other better.
Yeah.
So how about we try it my way? And if you hate it, we'll go back to the wrestling. That's fine. Like my skin will be red and whatever. You can win a few times. Like it'll be fine. But like try it my way. Trust me, and let's see how this goes. And it was one of the best sessions I ever had. And after
Yay.
that, he was an absolute angel, butterfly kisses and like tickly things, and found the clit all of a sudden. Like I was like, he turned into this miracle client. He left me an extra $20 and he was like, you've changed my life. And that $20 meant more to me than like a big tipper. Because now I didn't have to dread these sessions every Thursday at 3 o'clock. And I was like, this changes everything. But it changed my interpretation of a rough client because it made me
Mm.
reflect back after that. It was such like a life lesson that I was like, oh my God, I can think of like 6 different people that were probably just fighting for what they wanted. And I
Mm.
was like, no, 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 like you can't do this, you can't do that, go over there. Like just again, bossy and not in a fun, bossy way. Like that wasn't a role we were playing. And these poor men, I probably ripped them off a little bit in terms of the fun factor because I thought they were
Mhm.
a hassle and they were
Yeah.
just fighting the system. And so that little bit was able to change even how we train girls and how to adjust verbiage and mannerisms, body positioning with someone who might be a little grabby or a little too excited. And that was one of the things that this man said to me. He's like, sometimes I just get so excited. If a girl is accommodating and she's so pretty and no one's accommodated with me in the past 6 months, like it's like Disneyland to him. And so he wants to do it all. And I was like, what? No wonder he'd steamroll over me because he wanted everything all the time. And it just became this balance of personalities and a little bit of compassion.
For
Nobody
sure.
wants an aggressive client. I don't want our staff to ever have an aggressive client. But if you're in that scenario, here are 3 things I could tell you that will actually work. Or here's a new way you can move your body so that this body part is even out of reach. And yet he doesn't notice that it's actually out of reach because he's like distracted by this, and this. And so
Right.
it's like little maneuvers and things that, again, no offense to guys, but they wouldn't know how to teach something like that. And
Yeah.
so it's those moments that we're able to be more supportive for our staff. The highs are really high. The celebrations are big. The big goals and accomplishments and the money is awesome. But when someone has a hard day, there's no hesitation for them to call the boss. They call us
Yeah.
right away and they're like, guys, what do I do? Or the manager's on the phone with us too, being like, hey, you take her, I'll take her, and we'll both make her happy. And next thing you know, she's having lunch and snacks and, a little potluck party in the staff room. Like we try to like humanize every aspect of it. I think it makes a big difference.
That's so important. And yes, humanizing is like the word I love to use as well. And I think oftentimes I feel like we don't humanize clients. They are humans as well. I know we like to shit on clients a lot. We have a lot of clients listening to the show here. But there are some really nice people, and sometimes you just need that a bit of like change of perspective, to kind of like understand and empathize where that person is coming from. And really, like all these details, really, it sounds to me would really help again enhance the experience again, both for the workers and also for the clients as well, which I think is exceptional. And you just don't get to hear that very often. It's so refreshing.
Great.
And that's because that is because you are women, and also because you have both done the work. And it's,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because like with going back to like male ownership and like operations and stuff like that, but like you said something earlier, Emily, in terms of like, oh yeah, they can just disconnect. We can't disconnect as women. Like as women, we are
Uh-huh.
already marginalized, and like unfortunately, this type of job requires physicality. It's mental as well too, and especially when you have an aggressive client and you just can't shake it off and move to the next one. Like at least
Uh-huh.
not for me. It's
No,
hard
it can ruin a
to,
whole day. Yeah,
yeah, the whole day is ruined, and
absolutely.
if not, maybe even like a few days after, up to a week. It
Hmm.
shakes you up. So it's important that you're sharing these experiences with the people that are working for you, and knowing that this can be a reality. And of course, no one wants that kind of situation to happen. It does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're just transparent about it. Um, can we talk about, and I probably should have just done this earlier, but like talking about what an erotic massage is, because there are so many different kinds underneath this umbrella, and I haven't had an episode on erotic massage in years, so probably about since like season 2 or 3, so and it's season 8 now. So if we can go back to that real quick and then talk about the maybe the different types, and like you said, it's different offerings as well that Muse does too. Let's go into that big bucket. It's a big bucket.
Okay. I'll start this one off, Em. I know you'll have thoughts on it too. I mean, erotic massage is sensual. It's teasing. It's the build up. It's the thought of I almost did. Did she do that? It's a lot of kind of guessing and like feeling and like really being in the moment of that. It's not the wham bam getting laid.
Mhm.
Absolutely not. And if she does her job well or does it right, you will, as a customer, be a little confused at what took place. And I mean, she's manipulating your body with hers. So it's a lot of body sliding. So body sliding is body to body contact. We suggest not genital to genital, but it's really manipulating his body with yours, and it's hot. Like I mean,
Super hot.
a naked, warm, oily woman sliding on you just feels good.
Mhm.
And I think Emily and I have talked about this quite a bit in training too. Is like we know this because we used to do it to each other. Like it does feel good. You don't have to be going, it's not about the high mileage. It's just about those sensations. And the guys that come in for our experience love that experience for what it is.
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's the almost, the art of like
Mhm.
the tease, the art of like
Yeah.
literally that close, or like how can we tweak this so it feels like that but isn't.
Mhm.
And I think that's where the creativity of a body slide comes in as a huge like, it's more than a tool, even it's an entire chunk of what our business is about. My first spa had no body slides. That was too fancy for him. So we just did hand jobs and grabby things. But once I learned body slides, I really started to kind of enjoy, I want to say this in the nicest way, but like the fuckery of it, because you can like manipulate your own body. You can manipulate sensation. You can manipulate all the senses to create this illusion of it's almost like a movie. It's like, did we really blow up a building or was that special effects? Like it really is like that. And you can create the visuals in mirrors, and massage parlors are notorious for mirrors all over the place. And it's because of that. Sometimes we'll point it out and be like, it looks like we're fucking, doesn't it? Or it looks like we're doing this, that, and the other thing, or she's licking this or sucking that. Duos are perfect for that because then one girl can point it out while the other one's doing the work. And it's
Yes.
like these beautiful little trade back and forth moments. But it adds to that buildup. And so as much as most people correlate intimacy to penetration, it takes the pressure off the penetration and focuses it on all the little things that you loved in high school and college and the
Yeah.
things the wife isn't doing at home. Let's be serious. She's not there nibbling his ears and tickling his nipples and rimming and like she's just, no offense to wives, but like most of these guys come in with these like sexless situations, right?
Right.
And so the sex that does happen in those relationships is the obligatory Valentine's, birthday, anniversary sex. And again, I doubt she's really going out of her way on 6 new ways to play with your nipples. Like it's just not. And yet I have way more than 6. I could teach you a dozen at least. And that's just to start off the guy who likes nipple play. Like there's so much more to the umbrella of what sex and intimacy is that
Mhm.
when you can create that same feeling and yet it's almost a whirlwind of time goes by, like it does. The sessions go by before you know it. There wouldn't have even been time to include that. And I think the way we've done some of our inventions, which we call them, our sessions that we've created and kind of introduced to the industry, many of which were novel ideas, they were brand new and never done before, was actually ways that we could take some of that pressure off the ladies because the
Mm.
trends of the industry is continually now, but especially back then when we invented these tools, it's leaning more and more to full service is just expected and done everywhere. And again, no offense to full service, but a brothel is different than a body rub parlor,
Yeah.
and we like
Totally.
that difference. Um, I even like the difference of clientele because trust me, I had a few full service guys in my day. They were in a different category, a different part of my phone book, like it's a different scenario. But adding extra things that could make it easier for a girl who might feel that the pressure is becoming too much was really an easy and a clever thing because from the client's perspective, it added more fun or an extra girl or there's 2 extra titties. Like suddenly like something else was in the mix. And so
Mhm.
I'm gonna brag and gloat about our most famous invention, our most infamous session. Is called the Muse Mixer. And it's
Okay.
a 1 hour session that's got 3 girls in it, and they're 20 minutes each. So it's like a relay race, kind
Yeah.
of like a sample platter at a bar. And so you get to try a little bit of each. And when they swap out, there's a little bit of duo time where they're both
Of
in there with you for
course.
about 5 minutes. So by the
Oh
time
my
this hour
gosh.
and a bit is done, you've had 3 orgasms, you've met 3 vaginas, 6 titties, like you're tired. Poor guy needs a nap. He needs 3 showers and the weekend off. Like his day is done. It's our favorite thing for birthday boys too. We even do them for couples. They're so famous.
Right.
Yeah, and that's another dynamic of more titties, vaginas in the mix. But like, there's so much action in that that some of our clients are regulars only to the mixer, and they're
Mm.
guys that usually only see escorts because to get
Oh,
that exact experience with ladies that are either in call or out call means in the middle of the condo or the hotel you're making 2 girls wait outside in the hallway and
yeah.
they have to knock and come in and the other girl has to go out in the hallway, like it's just, and then you're paying everyone for the full
Yeah.
hour.
I was
It's
gonna
just such a
say.
different experience. It would be logistically really hard to create with an
Sure.
agency. And so these guys, they're also like there's no low mileage moments because it's just before you know it, the next girl's at the door and you got 2 of them on you. Like there's just literally no moment to fit in. A mixer would have to be 2 hours long if there was full service in it because there just
Totally.
isn't enough time. And it's a great sales technique. It's a great teaching tool. New girls get stuck right in the middle of a mixer so they can learn from both girls on either side.
Yeah.
For a guy, pick your favorite girl, pick the new girl, and the one you've been curious about that for some reason you haven't booked yet. But like experiment, try different looks, different personalities, nationalities, fetishes, anything you want in this little
Mm.
compact hour. It's genius. It's
That
genius. It just is. It just is.
Perhaps. We love to toot our own horn. Muse makers.
I
But
love
it works.
that.
It works for
No,
good
I think
reason.
that's great. Yeah, because like I was just thinking like, yeah, if you did do that with full service, like how expensive would that be? And like the
Yes.
logistically, how the hell would you even like plan that unless you rent like a
Right. It's a lot of
box or something
showers, a
or
lot of condoms. It's a lot of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. That's
But that's
really
just
great.
it. They're so entertained and there's so much going on. He doesn't even have a chance to think about it. He is fulfilled in every way.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's really a fun session.
Yeah. You'll be
Yeah.
drained by the end of a mixer.
Mm.
Literally
That's the
drained.
goal.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about like obviously the standard client, I think is usually a man, like a cishet man. But like I know that you offer packages or sessions for couples. You also mentioned we also incorporate fetishes in there as well. Is that pretty commonplace as well in a massage setting, or is that something that's very unique to Muse? Because that's for me, I just have not heard of too much incorporation with that when it comes to like erotic massage places. Like I would usually think more with like full service or doming and those kind of categories.
All right, Riley, take it away.
I think
Mhm.
couples are very popular right now. Like it really is a thing. And it's sometimes I don't even realize till the sign out comes in for the day that I'm like, wow, there was a handful of couples. And like couples are really experimenting. And I think Emily's mentioned this before. I think it was kind of around the time of COVID. And kind
Mhm.
of was it
Yes.
50 Shades back then? Or what was the
Bridgerton, all
movie that
that
was
stuff at
happening? I think
once.
it was 50
Yeah.
Shades. The couples got frisky. They got frisky and they wanted to experiment. I think Muse is the perfect experience in different couples for different reasons, but for some just to dip their toe. They're not into swinging yet. What is this experience going to be like? And couple sessions can go a million different ways. It could literally be the girl giving the man a session and the wife's watching, or the couple's going at it and the attendant, the muse, is just sitting masturbating watching. Like it really could go a million different ways, and they are able to have sex in the spa, so a lot of times that happens as
Mm,
well. We even have
cool.
females that come on their own,
Yeah. The world
That's
is
cool to
surprisingly.
changing.
hear.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I'm like,
You know,
I'm
we
intrigued.
started we started knowing that couples were going to be a thing when we opened.
Mhm.
Um, we I think they have it over in your side of the country too. Do you guys have the everything to do with sex show or now the taboo show?
We have the taboo show over here.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Taboo used to be called the Everything to Do with Sex Show, and it's been here in Toronto for like 30 years or something crazy like that. Um, I actually used to be a makeup artist for their fashion shows way back in the day. So I had all the ins. So once we opened Muse, we knew we needed a booth. There was never a
Yes.
rub and tug at this place for reasons well, I don't understand. Everyone else was there. Strip clubs, swingers clubs, toy, manufacturers, retailers, swinger resorts, like everyone else was there except Rub and Tug. So of course Muse had to be there. We're also the only owners that are face forward. So of course we're sitting at the booth, right at the trade show, going hello. And it slowly started to gain curiosity through that. We met most of our couple business through that show. And
Wow.
then, as Riley mentioned, something
Mhm.
happened during the panorama. I mean, we all had stuff happen during the panorama. Everybody had a seismic shift. But for couples, it was either make or break for a lot of
Yes.
relationships, right? So you're
Mhm.
stuck at home with either someone you can't stand. This is why domestic violence stuff went up and all those things. Or the opposite was almost like an early empty nester syndrome, where suddenly they were like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I remember you. You're kind of cute. And things started, you're stuck inside with a lot of time. And so curiosity gets the cat. And that's why I think we have the explosion of the polyamory and like unfortunately the way that's been twisted into a trend.
Yeah.
The popularity of swingers clubs and things like that by non-swinger people visiting. I think it's why hedonism has kind of had a bit of an upswing again, or like a resurgence.
Yes.
There's just a lot of different things that are happening. I see it with podcasts. I see it with the little card games that they all make, and everything's about let's get freaky. There's a lot of sex parties that happen in both rich areas and not rich areas now in most major cities. I'd say around North America, if not the world, right? We're probably
Mhm.
catching up with Europe. Never mind them. They're fun and freaky and way ahead of their time, or we're just behind it. But in that shift, I noticed almost immediately as soon as things were opening back up, and I remember saying to Riley a bunch of times, I am getting so many inquiries from couples all of a sudden. And it was not, we've done marketing, cross marketing with swingers clubs and stuff like that. And sometimes swingers want to kind of bring it back to basics. Let's go to an erotic massage, just us, and just
Mhm.
reconnect and that kind of vibe. And it was not those
Yeah.
people this time. It was
Mhm.
hi, my boyfriend and I have never done this before and we're really curious. Can you tell me how it happens? We want to come in tonight. And I was like, oh, because even the swingers seem to take a long time to decide that they want to do something vanilla. And these people are like, what do you got in an hour? Like they're just ready. And it is such a fascinating thing to kind of watch as it evolves. It's forced us to evolve our couples menu because it used to just be a
Right.
half an hour, either with one girl or two girls. Those are your choices. And now we've got like up to 120-minute options. We've got duos
Wow.
for couples. We've got the mixer for couples. We've got birthday specials for couples. We got anniversary specials for couples. Like it just exploded into all these different things. And it was the demand came before the supply. It was couples being
Wow.
like, we've already tried these four other things. What else you got? And then I'd call Riley and be like, we have a problem. We need to brainstorm.
Right.
We need more shit to do with these people. What are we going to do? And I love that kind of creativity because it pushes us to get into our business brain and like we want to make people happy. So what else can we figure out? And expanding that menu has been such a one of my favorite parts. I find that absolutely thrilling watching that growth. It's very cool. They end up very loyal clients. They also end up the type that will check in to kind of update you on things that they might have tried in their relationship, or they're coming back into Toronto and they can't wait to come again. And just these little evolutions of things. It's really fascinating. The dynamic is really cool. And I will say it's
That's really
all walks
cool.
of life. As vanilla,
Wow.
ordinary teachers and politicians, and just like clients are, they're no different. We've had some
Yeah,
famous ladies in. Like
totally.
it's a thing. It's a thing.
That's
It's
so
really cool. I'm
cool.
proud of
That's
society.
very, very fascinating. Really interesting too, and like such a fun part of your business to try to come up with new offerings and things you can incorporate.
Right? It's
I
like
mean,
a chef with a new menu.
Mhm.
I'm like, I need new dishes. What are we doing?
totally.
You know what though? It's not always easy though, because listen, we only sell time and we have, these square rooms to work with. And like there's only so much we can do. And I think we really thought we were tapped out in the last year or so. Like we've wanted a
Mm,
new session, but like what else can we do? And when we created the Centerfold, which is our newest session, which is a huge hit and success, it
Yeah.
was so organically. Like it was just, we were talking literally, I was in the grocery store, I believe. Um, and it was like a 30-minute call that it was just genius hit and there was a new session. And like it does happen, but sometimes we feel very limited because
yeah, no,
like I
totally. I
said,
was
we
gonna
only have
say
so
like the
much to work
constant
with.
need for innovation, is that because of like the demand, trying to keep up with industry trends, or is it just because like things feel stagnant sometimes, or it's like a mix of everything? Hmm.
I don't think it feels stagnant
Hmm.
to others. It does to us. And I think, I mean, the industry was doing what the industry was doing for decades
Right.
before we came along, doing the exact same thing. We did shake things up. And I mean, it's settled down and everyone's kind of adapted. Like the Muse mixer, for example, everyone has one. Almost every spa does it. They have some silly name for it. But no one does it
I love
like
when she gets
Muse, is the
catty.
difference.
I love it.
But there's going to be, it's not that we need to constantly create. That's just our business brains. I think we enjoy that piece. And when we like hit success, because listen, I'll be honest with you, Sia,
Hmm.
there's been a lot of fails. Okay. There's been a lot of fails.
Yeah.
We keep trying, as good entrepreneurs do, but we just like to
Yeah.
be creative
Well, I
and
think it's fun.
find
I
something
think
new
it's
for the boys.
healthy too. And like, yeah, I was definitely alluding to of the fact that there are a lot of challenges. One, running a business, but also the added layers of running a sex work business can also have its challenges, its stigma, uh, a lot of issues that can come with that. Do we want to also dive into that topic? Can get spicy,
Sure.
I'm sure.
This is my jam because we're about to get into some politics.
Save that's for
No,
last.
you know what? I was lucky. My first boss included me in some of his like behind the scenes like paperwork and stuff. So I knew kind of some of the mechanics of it, I guess. And just from us working under certain licensing, we were familiar with what we were familiar with. But the story of Muse is kind of an interesting journey that way, because in order to be a brick and mortar business in Toronto, you need a license. And at the time that we opened, things were very different from like when we first started as attendants in the industry. There was a lot of unlicensed stuff back in the day.
Right.
And that was kind of while the city was figuring out its solutions, kind of. There's always been a limited number of body rub parlor licenses here, which are exclusively for erotic massage. Just like strip clubs here are called adult entertainment clubs. I don't know
Right.
why I can never say that word. A sentence trips me up. Um, and so under those licenses, you can't have a normal nightclub with strippers. Like it's specific. And they were deemed a public nuisance to most areas of society. So that's when the zoning regulations came in and
Right.
made people kind of construct to their little common sense rules. I mean, yes, they should not be beside a school or a church. I get it.
Mhm.
It's a little off the beaten industrial path, in my opinion. It doesn't need to be that isolated, but it's kind of how we figure out what works. And the unlicensed places were popping up everywhere. And so the city basically created a holistic license that was supposed to be for shiatsu, Reiki, aromatherapy, hot stone, those kind of things. And
Gotcha.
instead, they've been misused left, right, and center as rub and tugs because there's a lot of gaps in the licensing. They never consulted any of us when creating it. They never do consult sex workers when creating
No.
laws around us, right?
Right.
Um, and so that was kind of the constructs of what we were under. And so to open as new business owners with no money, we opened a holistic spot in the exact same spot that we're in now. And we were very loud and very advertising and very obnoxious. And Emily and her opinions is all up in everyone's face. And the entire industry attacked and was on a mission to have us completely shut down. And
Wow.
it was a tumultuous 2 years that kind of came about a fateful day. We were celebrating our 2 year anniversary and cops walked in. A lot of cops walked in with a lot of bylaw officers with them, and they normally don't visit together.
Yeah.
And, you know, lawyers and stuff not far behind. And we were basically told we had 90 days to find a body rub license or be closed by the city.
Oh my God.
And in order to get one of those licenses, they're all grandfathered. So
Yeah.
you're buying someone's business. So massage parlors or body rub parlors here in Toronto sell from about $250,000 to about $1.25 million. And we had $0. So
Oh my
we had 90
God.
days to figure out life. And the fuckery continued because they affected our lenders. They affected all kinds of things down to the day before our hearing to get the license, which we found.
Oh my
It was a
God.
fiasco. Yeah, we're waiting for our Netflix movie because it's coming. It's coming because it was crazy. It was crazy. It was multiple spa owners all kind of compiling in this mission, hiring lawyers and private investigators and just all this nonsense to stop us. So our initial experience was frustrating because bylaws who normally governs us. They come and do the little routine checks, no difference than, you know, a road check during Christmas when people are out drinking a lot, right?
Right.
Um, and they were like, we like you guys. You're the only ones that don't break a bunch of rules. Everybody's sober. Everybody's got a license. Like this place is clean. Like they were like, this is great, but our hands are tied. And
Mhm.
so we never had trouble with the law in terms of us being targeted or us being the problem. In fact, they knew that we were coming in at least to be better and hopefully inspire others to do better, maybe teach them some things on how to do their law enforcement job a little better. But either which way, so some of them are very bad at investigating. I'm like, it was right in front of your face. The hooker's right there. Like, it's just silly. But like, we never had those kind of problems. And yet we know of some very poorly run places, dangerously run places that are the bane of law enforcement's existence because they're always a problem.
Right.
They've been in the news. There's actually been a murder here in Toronto a few
Oh
years
my
ago,
gosh.
in one of those particular parlors with a girl that we knew actually. And nothing was changed after that. Not a bylaw amendment, not an extra officer, nothing. And so it's kind of a micro example that is carbon copy of what the bigger sex work struggle is for legitimacy through law. Um, and it's frustrating. And yet, I like that we're able to say, no, we don't have any problems with law enforcement. Because when couples, especially, ask that question, I have to be able to promise, Bob and Jane, that they're not going to be on the news or part of like a SWAT break in or something crazy
Right.
because they decided to just have a little fun as a couple. And even when we get regular license inspections, just like everyone else, cops pop in once in a while to check if anybody needs anything. There's a specific morality division that comes to check on the workers themselves and see if they're there by will or by force and see if they need any help or resources. And if when you operate on the up, law enforcement can really be a helpful tool because we do call them when we have a problem. And
Mhm.
luckily, we don't feel afraid. I don't feel any which way about calling any officer anywhere or it could be a politician, it could be any. And I'm like, come in, come see how it goes, check our records. Like, this stuff is so different than the three neighbors down the road that you see in the news every 2 months that makes us all look really bad. Like, it's just such
Right.
a contrast, right? And
Yeah.
I would love if there was more of us and less of that, because that's when it gets really scary. That's when
Yeah.
we lose sleep at night because everyone's safe at Muse, but there's other things happening in other places, and things like that murder and stuff can happen, and it rattles everybody, it rattles the whole industry.
Mhm.
So there's ways we can cooperate with law enforcement, and that definitely plays a huge part of the brick and mortar. Aside from that, it's normal business shit, staffing
Yeah.
headaches, clientele headaches, advertising constantly, just social media out my wazoo, and you wear 19 hats and 7 titles. Like, that stuff is no different than if it was a coffee shop, a construction company, or a country. Like, running
Totally.
and operating and organizing people is hurting cats. It's frustrating for sure. Riley, take the lead on that one.
Our staff. You know what? We adore our staff. We've had so many muses over the years. Lots we still keep in touch with. We love our girls, but I'll tell you the real of the situation is it's all female. It is not easy. There's a
Uh-huh.
lot of personalities, even down to our management team. Um, I've mentioned this on our podcast many times. It's a challenge that Emily and I keep getting older because let's
Yeah.
face it, when we started, they were our peers. They were literally our friends or like our old coworkers. And we keep getting older, and that kind of the age demographic remains the same. And it becomes a little harder to relate with them and have conversations. And again, it's sex work, it's female personalities. It can get
Yeah.
really tricky, but where I feel we're lucky is there's two of us. And there's girls that will exclusively deal with Emily, that they vibe better with her or she understands them more. And there's girls that I prefer to talk to or prefer to talk to me. So
Yeah.
they have a
Very.
choice. And I think they're lucky for that. But I mean, it is a
Yeah, and they
challenge, and
stay
we're just going to
22. It's
keep getting
bullshit.
older, Emily. So, wow.
I mean, speaking of challenges too, like I know that you said that you could I guess you were working almost up until the day that you opened the spa, and then you made the conscious decision of not working at Muse as well. Can we also talk about why we choose to separate that and kind of retire and not dip your toes in your business?
Yeah.
we really wanted to retire. I think we were ready to retire. Again, we really enjoyed the journey of announcing the retirement and kind of going out financially on top. And it was our time. We were ready. I think at the time, the thought to not work in the spa would be we wanted to be in a different role than our staff. And if we remained in the same role we just were at a week ago at the old parlor, then how are they respecting us as owners and bosses? Also, would there be the thought that we're funneling more traffic to ourselves because we have control of the business, right? So we never kind of wanted to dip into that. I think Emily and I, and we've talked about this before too openly, that we were a little naive. We thought opening day, the doors were just going to flood open
Yeah.
with men and we would be
No.
rich by the next week. That is not the way it went. And we were not rich. And so in some respects, I wish we worked through that. I think it would have been smarter to say we're going to kind of float the boat for the first year with you girls until we're ready to step back. But once we were kind of firm in that decision,
Yeah.
it
Ego and
just, I
pride
don't know,
is a
we didn't want
devilish
to fold
thing,
on
I'm
it.
telling you.
Yes.
And we have a lot of both. I think if we had been, if our careers individually or personally had been shorter, we probably
Mm.
would have worked through. I think we were each at about 8.5 years. And I was like, you know what? Like, I've done all this. Like, we were just done with it. And it was a chance to be able to like refine that expertise. We'd hit our 10,000 outlier hours to become experts.
Yeah.
And it was the best decision. Did I enjoy eating cheese and crackers and PB&J for like a year and a half? No. Did we think that's the way it was going to go? No. Riley is dead ass serious. We expected literal lines day one. We dressed like hookers for opening day. We didn't dress like bosses at all. We were like, gentlemen, come in. And there was no gentlemen. So the learning curve, the ego bruises, they definitely kind of humbled us, aside from our cocky opinions. But that odd kind of balance, we both also came from corporate careers
Mhm.
aside from all the sex work in between and had pretty hefty resumes. So it was kind of an excited, untouched aspect of us. We haven't used these skills in a while. And we learned that both of our business like minds were very inclined. We have
Mhm.
either polar opposites or complete similarities. And so we yin and yang very well that way. And those things were completely in line. And we learned that from the day we had our first discussion, which was after 4 hours of silence that day. Decided, fine, I'll talk to you. But it was that quick, and when you're that like-minded, it should be that quick. Like there's nothing to get in the way of it. And it just like we were on the same vibe, the same ideas, and that part of it became very easy. I
Mhm.
completely agree we probably should have worked the first year, but I think the separation of powers is even more weird because guys bring this stuff up and I like, how do you train a new girl? And can I be there? And I'm like, how do you train new staff? Do you get them naked and lick their testicles? That's weird. And so technically, if we're in a duo and I'm their boss that sets their schedule and can fire them, and then the client's like, all right, girl on girl it up, and I'm supposed to lick my employee's vagina, and then they're supposed to take me seriously later. It's weird. It gets
Mhm.
very complicated.
Yeah.
But we've known a few ladies back in the day, actually some that are still kind of going, where they have a tiny little holistic and it's like them and two other employees or something. And that dynamic can definitely work. You kind of almost are like a collective, an indie collective in that
Right.
regard, where you just
Yeah.
work out of this spot, you know? We really wanted that difference because we also, again, not just ego, but we were up against a bunch of men as
Yeah.
other owners. And so we didn't want to just be the piddly little worker girl, the tuggers or something. We'd show up to
Right.
business meetings. The city would make us go to business meetings with all of the body rub parlor owners together, all the people trying to shut us down to have a little meeting. And we're
Oh
like,
my
great.
gosh.
We're the only people that show up in a business suit because we were like, but I'll be damned if you take me as anything less. And our
Mhm.
overcompensation was completely vivid, like it was all over the place. But that was our point too, was like you can laugh now and you can try your little games now, but you're going to be copying everything we do soon, and that's definitely what they do. So we set the trends.
I love
We
that.
set the trends and they follow now. But it comes with a price on all of that, which includes the fuckery and people messing with our business all the time. To this day, they still try. And so just juggling and balancing all those things, plus a team of 47 women, is a
Wow.
lot. And some days when we're really frustrated, because we get no days off, we're always Emily and Riley. We'll just look at
Mhm.
each other and go, can the next one be dudes? Like we just have a bunch of construction guys that are like, yes, ma'am, to everything. Because this other stuff is for the birds. Like it's a lot. It's a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
a
chicks.
lot. Wow. There's so
Yeah.
much here. Oh my gosh, I
It's
could
never
talk to you about
dull.
it for hours. No, it's never a dull moment at all. Um, there's so much I want to cover as well, but I think I mean, we can probably talk for hours, let's be real. Um, but I think one piece that we can kind of talk about and for our listeners to think about too, and for you to ruminate on as well is, with body rub and massage parlors, there is a stigma that comes with it. There's a lot of stereotypes that also come with that as well too. I think you guys are really doing a great job of innovating and setting yourselves apart from other, quote unquote bad players in the
Mhm.
industry that kind of tarnish what a spa can be. Um, I want to ask you both, what is one way that you can really help destigmatize this particular area of the industry?
Mm.
Deep question.
Oh,
Okay, let me jump in. I'm ready.
I need to think on this. So go on.
I think there's small things that we do, and I think there's bigger things we do. I think the fact that we're face forward is definitely helpful because if we can represent the industry to a point, it's a good look. It's different than what you see on the news when there is a problem. Actually, I think it was probably 20 years ago now, but at TIFF at the Toronto Film Festival, there was a movie called Rub and Tug. It is the cheesiest movie you've ever seen. If you can find it on the depths of the internet,
Oh my
watch
God.
it. It's a hoot. But it is every cliche and every stereotype on purpose. It's a little kids in the hall that way, where it's poking fun at itself. Because the client's like a big rich guy and the owner's like a grimy guy. And he's like, what do you got for me? It's just so cliche. But that is what people think. When
Yeah,
people think rub and tug, they think some grimy, dirty room with people probably not willing to be there, some dirty mattress in the corner, and some gross guy going, what do you do? What do you give me? Just gross about it. And it's actually completely the opposite. I mean, we've gone through what, 4 or 5 full renovations of our spa,
wow.
and we've plugged millions of dollars into it. It looks like a 5-star spa like you would get at a fancy hotel or a resort. I like that people can come in and sit for a minute at the coffee bar. We do a lot of different things that way to make that experience different, so that stigma is smashed. And I think social media is a great tool for that because we're able
Yeah.
to show the visual to match it. I think the reason we have a podcast is to kind of stick the finger to both stigma, the bad players, the haters, and all the loved ones. Come one, come all. It's just like, oh, you thought you knew, you didn't know, so let us tell you. And
Yeah.
with that can be a lot of growth for an industry. It can be confronting. It can, shine a spotlight on some of the difficult aspects as well. But it can show that there can be so much good that comes of this. Our girls, when they have a win, it's a major win. It's completely paying off student loans. It's buying their first home before they're even done college. It's, their kids being able to go to private schools without any credit cards involved at all, paying for sick parents' care, and so many different things that stuff that we get to put out through our different channels that we've kind of mastered is what makes the difference. And we also tackle things on a political level, and we tackle
Yes.
things in local politics too, because lobbying is still a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the podcast is new-ish, although we're going into season 4. That's flown by. But I'd say the biggest way we try to destigmatize the industry is through the
Yeah.
podcast, because like Emily's saying, we're not only face forward and talking about it, talking about the good, the bad, and everything in between. I think it really normalizes the job. It normalizes it by showing the spa. One of our most popular episodes was kind of what to expect when you walk into a rub and tug. And we had visuals and we went through everything in the sessions. And I think people, again, like she said, they really picture women there against their
Yeah.
will, dirty kind of environments. And listen, these girls are there by choice. They are empowered, they're ambitious, they're intelligent. And I mean, I
Mhm.
think they're the strongest type of woman out there. So the more we can kind of talk about them and show through the podcast and us speaking about it, I think really does
I
Yeah.
agree with
No,
that.
destigmatize the
I
whole
definitely
industry.
agree for sure. So amazing. And there's so many great nuggets that you guys were able to share over this episode and just like offer some real insight in terms of like what it's like to run Rub and Tug and some of the realities that your workers yourselves have faced in your careers as well. So such a great episode. I'm so glad to have had you guys on finally. But before I let you go, where can we all find you?
Ooh, well, thank you for having us. Definitely. There's so many social media things. I don't want to overwhelm everyone because it's a lot these days. But you can find
Yes.
our spa at www.musemassagespa.com. That is the hub of everything. On there, you can find our social media. You can find the podcast. Muse on the Mic is everywhere you find podcasts, and our Patreon to special saucy things. Um, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We're absolutely everywhere. You can either find Emily Muse, Riley Muse, Muse Massage Spa, or Muse on the Mic.
Perfect. And I guess if anyone else is listening as well that want to get in touch with me, you can. It's Stripped by Sia podcast on Instagram, Stripped by Sia on Twitter, Blue Sky. You could also find my Patreon, as I mentioned earlier in the show. And if you want to be on the show, get your entries in, get your pitches in, because literally show is ending this year. So strippedbysia.com, and there's a contact page. You can go and pitch yourself there. And if you're still enjoying the show after all these years, still rate, review, do all the things, 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. It's a really great way of, sharing the show and giving access to those who might need those resources and might need a listen as well in terms of support. So do your homework, do your thing, and it'll be another great episode. And next week, dropping in Sundays at midnight Pacific Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me, you two, finally.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You're listening to Stripped by Sia, hosted, produced, and edited by Steph Sia. Music by Ted D. Graphic design by Maria Bellandarama, and photography by Ian Dabrin.